Thank you for giving CIU the opportunity to present in this very important lunch debate. My name is Robert Mandara and I am Vice President of the European Cochlear Implant Users Association. CIU comprises 31 member associations from 24 European countries and represents around 230,000 cochlear implant users in Europe. I am a bilateral cochlear implant user. Without my implant, I am 100% deaf. A cochlear implant system consists of two parts, an external processor, which resembles a hearing aid, and an internal implant consisting of a receiver and electrodes. The external processor converts sound into signals which are transmitted via the implant to the electrodes in the cochlea, completely bypassing the bones of the inner ear. From there, the signals pass along the auditory nerve to the brain, allowing us to hear. Imagine that you have lost all of your usable hearing. It sometimes happens rapidly. After the initial shock, you would almost certainly become isolated, withdrawn, irritable, and probably be unable to hold down your job. I just said 4 words in about 1 second, and I expect you were already bothered by the lack of sound. Imagine that frustration for the rest of your life. The hearing world does a poor job of helping the deaf along. Whatever we miss, and whatever you just missed, is lost forever. The good news is that cochlear implants, although not a cure, can restore your hearing to a level where you can function quite normally. The bad news is that of every 20 people who could benefit from implants, only 1 or 2 out of 20 candidates in Europe has one. Worse than that, the rate of implantation is falling behind, not catching up. If that's not bad enough news for you, provision is biased towards children. The older you are, the less likely you are to qualify. So not only have you lost your hearing, but a solution is tantalizingly close. Alas, your country does not invest nearly enough, so you are one of the unlucky 19 out of 20, along with losing your job, expect to lose contact with your loved ones, friends, music, and mental health. Why is the rate of implantation so low? The initial cost of the implant, surgery and rehabilitation is high, and from that people assume that it is simply too expensive to offer implants. However, the crucial point to keep in mind is that the cost of not implanting is 10 times higher than the cost of implanting. The return on investment for society is huge. In simple terms, a person who can hear is the person who can work, rather than one who is a drain on society's precious funds. Countries who spend most on hearing technologies, for example Denmark, also have the lowest ongoing social support cost. In light of this, society and professionals should be encouraging candidates to have cochlear implants, not dissuading them. We fully expect the return on investment to continue to rise as technologies develop. The reason to implant should not be because it saves society money, even though it does, but because it is the right thing to do. Furthermore, the value to recipients is incalculable. In my case, I would not be willing to permanently part with either of my implants for even €1 billion. You only fully appreciate how precious hearing is after you have lost and regained it. In short, finance is only an obstacle because decision makers expect it to be one. Not only are cochlear implants an investment in sound, in healthcare terms they are sound investments. COVID-19 briefly interrupted implant operations in most countries before they were resumed at a slower rate. However, in at least one case, operations have ceased completely, with absolutely no sign of being resumed. That is totally unfair on infants in particular. Delays now cannot be caught up with later. Meanwhile, online education has been difficult for cochlear implant users because face masks prevent lip reading and online classes have not been made accessible with subtitles.
There are two main reasons why it is important for us that our children with cochlear implants go to mainstream schools. The first one is that they have many friends here. They have known each other for a long time since kindergarten. By putting them in special schools far from their homes, we would tear them away from their familiar environments. The second is that they are as talented as other children. We just need teachers to make a little effort and adapt their lessons for children with impaired hearing, to use more visualization, FM technologies, etc. With such support, these children can succeed without much difficulty.
First of all, the teacher should get to know the child. How is the hearing? How is the communication? And how is the cognitive development? The teacher should use specific communication strategies that support understanding, like repeating answers after pupils, and use forms of education which support critical thinking. The educational environment should be visually rich, so the child has enough opportunities to learn. The teacher should be aware of the echo in the classroom and adjust it for the better listening. The communication strategies also help lower the noise in the classroom.
Marianka, what would you like to be when you grow up?
I want to be a zookeeper.
So why are so few people implanted? Firstly, awareness. When did you last hear implants mentioned in the newspaper or on television? Did you get a favourable and accurate impression, or do you think that implants are primitive and expensive? If they are so primitive, how am I sitting here, talking normally, and prizing my ears so greatly? I am not exceptional. Many cochlear implant users enjoy far better results than I do. Very often you wouldn't even realise that they have implants. We need to communicate to candidates, their families, friends and colleagues just how life-changing implants can be. Implants not only help the patient, but everyone around them too. Considering my enthusiasm, perhaps you will be surprised to learn that I spent 18 years firmly refusing to have cochlear implants, mainly due to how the media portrayed them. Secondly, insufficient hearing screening, especially in adults. Today, babies are quite routinely tested and, if they are lucky, will get implants between 6 months and 1 year of age. Adults famously take 10 years to get their hearing tested, but instead usually blaming everyone around them for talking too quietly. Without regular hearing screening, people with any degree of hearing loss are not being considered for technological solutions in a timely manner. Thirdly, budget prioritise children. Consequently, implants are simply not being suggested or offered to adults. Adults of all ages can benefit greatly from implants, but most are denied the technology that brilliant people of their own generation invented and developed. Let's not neglect the adults. While children routinely get bilateral implants, most adults simply aren't allowed more than one. I am extremely lucky that I live in Finland, and therefore I have two. Many of you are wearing glasses, but how many of you are wearing monocles? 2 eyes are better than one, right? So let's stop perpetuating the ridiculous myth that one is enough. One is better than none, but the same can be said for arms, eyes, legs and hands. Fourthly, across Europe, we do not have clear pathways to cochlear implants. Private hearing aid dispensers will not refer their customers to cochlear implant clinics when it is more profitable to keep selling newer, but still inadequate hearing aids for as long as possible. Meanwhile, even in countries where hearing aid provision is publicly funded, hearing aid wearers often do not get referred for cochlear implant evaluation. Great numbers of people are being denied their best chance to hear and to function in the hearing world.
Hello, I'm Peter and I'm user of Cochlear Implant. And let me introduce myself. I'm 19 years old, I live in Czech Republic and I attend this high school here in Prague. Right now I attend the last grade, so I prepare myself for the school leaving exam, and Cochlear Implant helps me to communicate and understand my friends and my family, so I'm super grateful for it. But nowadays, during this coronavirus pandemic, it's a little bit challenging for me to understand because everyone wears a face mask, so I can't read their lips when they are talking. So it's a small problem for me, but thanks to my friends, which are very supportive, and they explain everything to me when I don't understand.
Hello, I'm Katka. I received my first implant when I was 12. I couldn't get a second implant in my country, but when I was 30, I was working abroad and I got my second implant there. I have the latest processors and I'm amazed at what they can do. For example, just recently I discovered I can do Zoom calls with my boss just fine. I can also understand some people in face masks surprisingly well. I didn't expect that. My cochlear implants are amazing.
Fifthly, we must commit to lifetime support. Implants and processors are technical devices and do not last forever. It is crucial that implant recipients are supported throughout their whole lifetimes to ensure that the technology is maintained. Cochlear implant users do not have normal hearing and may still need a range of accessibility services, speech therapy, educational support, etc. for their specific needs, especially as many will have other health issues. Finally, and most relevantly, we need to create a level playing field across Europe to ensure that all of our countries provide similar levels of excellent provision and care. Cochlear implant users should be able to travel, work and live all around Europe just like any other European citizens without being tethered to a single clinic or fearing for their ears when they travel. What is free in one country can be completely unavailable or very expensive in another country, often with high rates of VAT to pay too. Cochlear implant users are not usually high earners. As it is, we are seeing some instances of health tourism for implants between our countries, which would not be the case if the system was working. In summary, let's improve the pathways for all age groups, raise awareness, invest in regular hearing screening, appreciate the importance of 2 ears, and commit to lifelong support. We hope that the World Health Organization's World Hearing Report will change the way that policymakers and society in general views hearing loss. Cochlear implants are a very good technical intervention which can reduce the global burden of hearing loss. Together, let's work to make Europe the world leader in cochlear implant provision, with excellent and equitable care across all of our countries. Above all, please remember this: cochlear implants are, quite literally, sound investments. If you have questions or comments, please contact me via CIU. Thank you.